Hi, everyone. My name is Meg Edwards, and I'm a GTD coach, and I'm here today with Mary O'Malley, who's also a GTD coach. And what we wanted to talk about today was GTD and ADHD. And so part of this video is to just kind of share how we've been working with people with ADD over many, many years. Let's just first talk about definitions. Yes, we know that there are three types of ADHD. I just use the word ADD. I love how Edward Hollowell and John Rady are now talking and exploring about ADHD being called VAST, Variable Attention Stimulus Trait. They've written their book a little while ago, ADD 2.0. So clients come to us sometimes self-diagnosed, sometimes with a medical diagnosis, sometimes recently been diagnosed, sometimes they were diagnosed as a child or even in high school and college, all throughout their lifespan development. They may find out that they have ADD and they're looking for solutions. And that was definitely the story for me. Those of you who may know me, I have been a GTD coach for about 25, 26 years now. And I actually came to GTD because I actually was a certified ADD coach, but I also had been diagnosed with ADD myself back in my mid-30s. And I was looking for solutions. And, one of the solutions that my sister had recommended was to go see David Allen. And this is back in like 1999. And back then it was called Managing Actions and Projects. And I remember saying, I don't know what you're talking about, Mary, and I trust you though impeccably. And I took my 2-month-old baby down to Boston. I live in Maine, to the seminar. And I was completely blown away when David started talking about the Getting Things Done methodology. I thought that this is what I had been looking for. Like this was the last missing piece. I had done a whole bunch of work. I'd actually worked with a professional organizer, but this was a real missing piece for me that I didn't find in any of those other areas. And so, Mary, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
I'm Mary O'Malley. I'm a GTD coach and I'm also an educational therapist. Previous to being an ed therapist, I've been in private practice for almost 20 years. Previous to that, I worked for LA Unified School District, where I was a special day teacher and taught middle school in that setting. So I have a really long history working with individuals with what I call a learning profile. And that's a variety of diagnosis and really welcoming in and leveraging all different types of neurodiversity. So one of the things that I talk with GTD clients about quite a bit, if they let me know as their coach that they think they have ADHD or have an ADHD diagnosis, is that there are a lot of gifts that come with this profile. Individuals with this profile are classically more creative. They connect the dots on another level. There's so many things. So I want that individual to embrace the gifts that come with this. It's not to say that there's not also significant pain and struggle that all of us face, but also there's things to leverage, and we're going to look for that. And we're going to architect your system to enable you to maintain it and review it and engage with it. So one of the things that we discuss here is dynamic orientation. And when you can see a lot, maybe with that variable attention stimulus trait, and when there's 7 lifetimes that you want to live all at once, well, then you need a system to be able to review it and pick how you are going to engage today, not only with what is predefined for you, but also what's coming at you, what has just shown up, whether that is some external unplanned or whether that's a really great, amazing, life-changing idea that you've just had that you'd like to act on. So these are some of the things that we discuss with clients. We don't remediate ADHD, but we do help you to understand yourself and the way that you think and engage. And we do help you to get a personalized system that works for you. So, Meg, I'm curious, did you read the book before you went to see David Allen speak?
The book hadn't come out yet.
That's right, 1999.
Am I dating myself? Yes. No, the book hadn't come out. But fair enough. When the book did come out, I would have been probably, I've said this to people. There's a point in the book where David says, go collect everything, like go do a big mind sweep. And, I think I would have been so overwhelmed just by that concept. I might have just closed the book and that was the end of it. And I think that that happens to people, whether you have ADHD or not,
Yeah,
right?
that's
That the
awesome.
book is really the manual that really lays out the whole framework of the Getting Things Done methodology. And so I think that people with ADHD, they'll come to us and say, I'm a little concerned. Is this really going to work for me? Is it gonna stick? Particularly because they've tried so many things before GTD, and that was certainly my case, right? I think what we've worked so hard at GTD Focus is that we put people in these one-on-one 4-month courses/programs, right? Because we're solving different things in different programs. So we're first working on installing it, just getting it set up, right? What's the right tool for you? What are the right lists for you? What's the best way for you to clarify and organize your emails in paper? It's so customized. And we also have added something called the Kairos Assessment that we've been doing for over 20 years. And the Kairos assessment, it's Kairos. And Kairos stands for, it's a Greek word meaning doing the optimal thing at the optimal time. And this has been a game changer for people. I think they're just coming for GTD coaching. And all of a sudden, we also introduced the Kairos, which is something that has worked so well with GTD because understanding your cognitive preferences. When somebody says, well, it's my ADD, it's my ADD, I'm like, that's so global. So we get much more in the specificity of somebody's preference so that we can really customize the methodology to make it work for them and give them some more vocabulary to be able to have them understand the why. Oh, the why I have a challenging time with the tool, or the why I have a challenging time with the weekly review, or the why I have a challenging time clarifying and organizing emails, or the why, the why, the why. We've got the why. We understand the why. And so the Getting Things Done methodology is not only having a trusted external trusted system, but it's also matching it with a trusted internal trusted system and then pairing those together. And we've had really great success. And so one of the things I always say to people when I'm talking with them is the beauty also of these programs is you're paying for not number of hours with us, but results. People take a pre and a post assessment. And so the foundation is working on just getting it installed, right? Because once you have it installed, then that allows you to start doing your weekly reviews. That starts maintaining it. And then we have a program, which is the strategy program, which is working on implementing it. Okay, now how do we make it a little bit more of a habit? How do we make it so that we're helping you with calendar management, making sure you have space for the doing time and the defining time and the unplanned? And then we have the integrating program, which is now how do you integrate all of this? How do you make it kind of second nature, like you and I have it second natured? It's something that we are just really, we don't have to think about it. It's integrated. And so we're solving different things. And so sometimes people will repeat programs, ADHD or not,
Yeah.
because they just want to keep working on it. But I think that it's a very fair question for people with ADHD to say, God, this seems so complicated. And is it going to really work for me, particularly when they've had a history of start, stop, start, stop, start, stops. So when people are working with us and keeping the cadence and then having breaks in between programs, that also really helps that they can just really not feel like they've got to do everything with GTD, but they can do pieces of it over time.
I think the other piece with that is it can seem like there are hurdles to start This is why I asked. Oh, I have to read the book first. I have to understand the book. No, you don't. Talk to a coach. And if books don't really work for the way that you learn and engage, but you'd like to know a little more about the GTD methodology first, there's the audiobook. There's also our YouTube videos, which cover a lot of things. However, I would recommend just call and say, or get on our website and say, talk to a coach. That is a really good way to ask those personalized questions, because when you have a profile like ADHD, you really benefit from that personalization. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. And so I would encourage someone watching this to just lean into that need for personalization. The other thing that you said, Meg, about how people will sometimes take foundation twice or strategy 2 or 3 times. Yeah, they'll do that because they want more reps. Also, sometimes because their context changed.
Yes.
So GTD does, as an ed therapist, something that I love that I have not seen any other methodology do, which is talk about context. And executive functioning is really highly dependent on context. And for those of us that are really grounded and rooted in context thinking, when our context changes, it can really mess with our system. That's not a failing on your part. That's a need to get a coach and adjust your system. So a lot of people show up when they got a promotion, when they started a company, when they had a baby, when they got married, maybe if there sadly was a death and they need to adjust things. Any context shift, it's important to investigate and maybe reestablish your system as well.
We have lots of experience. We've been doing this for decades. We customize this. We take very small steps. And, David, again, he just wrote this great groundbreaking book that came out in 2001 that's still timeless, hasn't changed. We haven't seen anything new. We just see variations on the theme. But again, we would love to hear from you. We would love to have exploratory conversations with you to see how we can really help you, because there's just always been this sense of people, when they go and usually seek out a diagnosis, it's because they're not thriving. And GTD can just be another tool that you can add to your tool belt that can really help you thrive, versus that kind of survival mode or just trying to get through the day mode or in the busy trap or, getting distracted by the shiny penny and, losing your focus and having a surplus of attention and all those kinds of things that we really can unpack in the coaching.
Well said, Meg.
So thank you, Mary. And we look forward to hearing from all of you.
Yes. If you have a comment, please leave it below in the chat. We do read all of them. And if you liked this video, go ahead and like it. And also please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks so much.
For more GTD resources, visit davidco.com and David Allen's YouTube channel. To explore coaching, email info@gtdfocus.com or visit gtdfocus.com and click Talk to a Coach.